Hi folks, hope everyone is well. Thanks for joining me in this latest edition of Property Trader Academy. So we just want to go through some of the property trading principles here, a bit of learning and understanding. So thus far, if you've seen the previous videos, we've talked about some of the principles, the most effective and fastest way to get leads from motivated sellers into your life, how to telephone call those leads, what to say when we're on the telephone. We will jump into the living room, what we're going to do in there and say in there. But to jump back a step that I missed out is a lot of people get wound up about how to price a property, and when they go and speak to someone, they don't feel as though they have the authority or the confidence. So let's look at how we do it here. And I understand we're in a little pocket of Scotland, as my dulcet vowels betray, but same rules apply whether you're in Mayfair or Motherwell. It's all property, it's boxes of bricks, it has an inherent value. If you're buying, you need to buy at a certain value. If you are going to act as an agent, then that's a different thing. But first place that we go is onto Rightmove. Now we've got the internal side of Rightmove Plus, which is for estate agents. But even without that, there is a tab on Rightmove, house prices. We tend to use this. I know other brands are available that you could use, but this works quite well. And if I just jump on and look at some of my leads that have come in over the last few hours, so on my screen there I can see Glen Ramskull in sunny Cumnock. So I can just type in KA18, what was that, 1HH? I think it was. Let me go with it a quarter of a mile. So there's one there, 1HX it was. Okay. So we can do this direct street or whatever else. So I've got a phone call from, or we've got an inquiry. So before, and I did this on the video when we were looking at phoning people and the way we go about that. I've always got Rightmove open. So when I phone someone, I've got this open. I want to understand where their head is in terms of price. I need to close that down to area only. Into price and where I see the value. So this is an area then, first lead there that I saw was in Cumnock, so town, maybe 15 miles down the road. It is ex-local authority, good stock, rents really well. If I'm buying it, I need to be buying at one level. If I'm an agent, I need to act at another level. If you're interested in becoming a co-move partner, the reasons we have this in our life, and most big property trading companies do, they have other exits like auctions or estate agencies. I owned an auction business which I sold on. We've now got this hybrid online auction estate agency which is working spectacularly well. And what it allows us to do is to monetize the leads that we can't necessarily buy or send straight out to an investor. Clearly it's my baby, so I always going to recommend it, but it's something that works really well. It pays for all the leads, it pays for machinery, it pays for staff wages, offices and all the rest of it. And it means then when we find a deal that we can buy, it's kind of all jam. So let's look at this deal that came in here then, or a lead that came in from Glen Ramskull in Cumnock. A quick look, assuming they're all much of a muchness, which they may or may not be. I can see that the last couple of sales there of selling a 3-bed property, that looked like a terrace property. Let's pop up and look at the historic pictures. Yeah, very 1995 decor in there, so it's not the latest and greatest. It did 60, the one before it did 63. It was a 2-bed, did 70, but we're going back a few years there. Always a little bit concerned to see something like that, 86. It's okay, but it's not spectacular. Sometimes you get an outlier there. So my pricing on that, last couple of sales are 60. I'll push out a quarter of a mile, see what else, well, 3 beds are available. And I'm making the assumption when I phone these people, it's a 3-bed. Clearly, if it was a 1-bed flat, it's going to change the conversation somewhat. There's one in Forbes, just around the corner, did 80. 2-bed bungalow, different thing. Similar thing there, 3-bed. These look like bigger lumps of things, though, that have done heavier money. So I am sort of forecasting the value of that probably 60, 65 if it was to sit on the market with 90 days. So generally my starting point is, what is the 90-day value on this property? And that's not 90 days the way a commercial surveyor would view something. My version of 90 days is simply, if I was to take a property on, if we were to represent it under agency terms or kind of a stage 3 model, would we sell this within 90 days? Because I'm only interested in taking on properties that I can sell within that 90-day window. And I then use that price point to decide what I could pay cash for a property. And I've got some arithmetical hoops to jump through before I arrive at that figure. So from my perspective, we don't charge buyers fees, upfront fees. We don't monetize sellers. We don't monetize sellers. So the only way we make money is if we actually sell a property as an agency. The good thing from a sales perspective, our agenda is exactly the same as theirs. We want the property sold. What has happened historically with estate agents is they go and inflate the potential selling price. They put stars in the eyes of the seller. The vendor then goes with them with hope in their hearts, only to discover the £500 marketing fee down, plus maybe £400 for a home report, which you require in Scotland. And the agent has the audacity to ask for another £1,000 at the far end if by some luck they sell the property. So what that then means is that properties go on the market and sit for 6 months, 12 months, sometimes longer. Simple reason is they've been overpriced. With us, we always try and price it within a 90-day window. And this is where I advise you, regardless of whether you're partnering with us in some way or not, this is how to do it. Look at what you realistically believe, and the evidence is there in front of us. If we jump back to that street, that little property there, they're selling for around 60. There's one, a two-bed that did 70, but 60, 65, 70, ballparky. I'm always going to be a little bit sterner on it. Let's say I phone this up, it's an average property, it's a 3-bed, it's a terrace, it's an average condition, so on and so forth. The driveway will make a difference, I guess, whether or not it has one. But let's say I arrive at the figure 90 days. If I took this on, we wanted to earn a fee out of it because we collect a fee from the buyer under our model. 90 days, would it sell for 60? Maybe. I'd probably rather guide that about 55 in the hope that I could get something towards 60. So if I spoke to these individuals and they started talking, I want 90 for it, it just feels heavy. I would need some convincing that there was that value in the property. So if I've thought to myself, we could take this on under agency terms, guide 55, let's try and get high 50s, maybe into the 60s. If somebody wants to bid 70, we won't be the people to tell them no. But where am I if I'm a cash buyer? Now, I've got other considerations here if I'm going to buy for cash, because if I buy for cash, my mentality is that I probably will not hold it. I'll sell it back on the open market. So I need to be really sure about where we are with things. So looking at this one, let's say broadly 60 is the selling price. Sorry, working office, phones are going to go off. That'll get picked up hopefully. So let's say we say 60 is the price on that within 90 days on the open market. But I speak to the vendor and they say they've got no appetite for the open market. They're open to a cash offer. What can I do for them? So working it backwards then, if I think 60 is the end value of this, if I buy it, immediately I'm going to get hit with stamp duty, which in Scotland, or land building transaction tax as it is in Scotland, stamp duty for my English cousins. Now, on a second dwelling, I know in England it's 3%, it's just recently jumped up to 4% here in Scotland. So I need to make that allowance as well. So immediately I've got £2,400 to find. I'll do the sums as I go along because I did this before and got all my math wrong. So I've got £2,400 to find in terms of stamp duty. So that's a factor. I'll probably have £1,000 in legal costs, so now 3, 4, let's call it 3.5 for easy counting. I then may have to go and do some improvement to the property, maybe bring it up to spec a little bit. Generally, I don't get heavily involved in refurbishments. We've done some, but broadly, our trading mentality is we sell it more or less the way we found it. If a wall needs painted or something's replaced to make it look a little bit better, then fair enough. But I don't want to invest time or masses of budget in improving properties. If that's your model, good luck to you. You'll make more money at the far end, but you'll also burn a good bit of time. So all of those things considered, then, for it to be worth our while getting involved in that, it's going to cost us, £3,500 to get involved. Realistically, we need to pull kind of 10 out of it. So £10,000 has to be our margin, or why the hell are we buying this? It's it's a profit-making centre here. So I've got to make that allowance as well. So realistically, by the time I pay my legals then on the way out of the transaction, if I buy it from own cash, I don't need to allow any financing costs. But what if I've got an investor who wants 1% on their money, or a bridging company who want 1% on their money? All of a sudden, all these things stack up. So probably on that one, and this might come as a surprise to you, but I'm going to be a smidgen under £40,000 if it's my money, I probably want to be paying 39 for that. So it might seem like a big chunk off, getting a third off, but I'm not monetizing that particularly heavily. I think, you know, I buy it at 39. Now, the magic thing with 39,000 is any property in Scotland under 40,000 does not attract the additional stamp duty or land building transaction tax. So I'm 39 in. I'm probably £3,000 or £4,000 in expenses, legals, in, out, all the rest of it. I may or may not have financing costs depending on how I've approached it. But the property on a bad day probably sits there owing me 45, and I'd be confident that we'd get that away for middle 50s, hopefully towards 60, so there's 10 or 15 in it. But you can never have enough of a discount when you're buying to sell on. Now, clearly, I wouldn't have to cut it that deeply if I was going to hold that as a long-term buy-to-let. I could probably afford to be a little bit more generous. But as a buy-to-sell, I need to be in at that level on that particular property. So that is one example. Let me just have a quick look at the leads again, see what we've got here. So this is an individual that I need to speak to in Ayr, so that's K89QA. So let's just stick that postcode in. And it's gone quarter mile, so let me get it to the exact street. Okay, so this is Thompson Street in Ayr. Again, ex-local authority. There's a 3-bed, did 64 a few years ago now, so I'm going to have to go out a quarter mile just to get a flavour. 100 surprises me for that. Now, I have got the good fortune, as you will have, of knowing these streets fairly intimately. I was brought up 200-300 yards from these streets. I'm actually looking for one that we sold in there. It hasn't hit the register. But, you know, I'm surprised they're doing that money done up. But, you know, 80, 90 for a 2-3 bed ex-local authority. This one is Sloane Street, which I would be familiar with that street, and there's no parking there. It's done up to reasonable standard, I guess. A bit OTT on the decor, but maybe that's the level. I'm getting old, folks, if that's where we are. Those are doing that kind of money. So the last one there did 64, one before 2-bed did 75. Yeah, we'll jump in and have a look at the one that did 64. Yeah, a bit of a riot inside. Looks like it was somebody who's maybe fairly elderly and moved on. So somebody's got quite a good deal there. So my 90-day price on that, off the top of my head, is mid-70s to 80, probably crawls to 80. You know, there's an outlier there, one that sold nearly 5 years ago now for 64, but it was pretty distressed looking inside. There's one there sold for 15,000 in 2002. I suspect that would be purchased directly from the council. So my thinking there, 75.80 is the 90-day price. I'm not going to get that for 39,000. I don't think much as though I would like. So I'm going to have to factor in stamp duty on that one. Realistically, we can't be paying any more than 50 on it. And even then, I'm sucking my teeth a little bit. You know, at 50, I've got 2.5 to add on for stamp, just about, haven't I? So I've got, yeah, a couple of £1,000 in stamp plus legals in and out. So I can easily see 5,000. So now it owes me 55. You know, maybe some titivating costs and all the rest of it. I'd be happier if it owed us 75. So I think we've really got to be into that one when I phone her up. 3-bed, cash is going to be 55. Now, this is me with my trading head on, but you know, we've got the other option, and we say this to virtually everybody we speak to, is look, you don't have to take the cash offer. It will always be there for you. If you want to give it a go in the open market, we can put it up on the open market, free of charge, gratis, no cost or risk to you. Why not give it a go and see what the market brings you? Now, we will earn a minimum of £1,500 fee from the incoming buyer, because the buyer will buy under our conditional auction terms. So we run estate agents auctions, you know, sort of dual branding. But the good thing about that is that the seller working office, the seller is compelled to fulfill the transaction and pay the fee on day one. So we get paid quite early in the process. The seller gets maximum price for the property, but you don't know everybody's story. Sometimes they don't want the maximum price. They just want it done in a way and out of their hair. Death, divorce, debt, tenants causing them problems. There's lots and lots of reasons where people want to sell a property. And part of the kind of push that we have is to bring in thousands of leads per quarter, so we can filter them all out, use the ones that want to go in the open market using our system, which I think is the best thing out there, and those that simply want a cash offer, we're in a position to do that as well. So fairly broad. I know it's quite localized to where I am, but you'll know your territory just as I know mine. You really do need a deep discount if you're going to be buying and flipping on, even if you're going to do refurbishments to these properties. You're investing time and money and effort and energy. Be really watchful you're getting the right level of discount. And if you're our partner anyway, you'll be in a position to offer that as an alternative and simply put it on the market for them gratis, free. The wonderful thing about that is you introduce them into the market, you get to meet investors and buyers, so you bring them into your life, and also it allows you, you're only one in, I don't know, 50 or 60 people are really looking for a cash offer. Most people, want more money for the property, more than you can sensibly pay for it. So it's nice to be able to monetize those opportunities in some way, serve the client, make a little bit of money yourself, earn some wages, pay for your marketing and so on and so forth. So very broad strokes, but that is a little bit on pricing. Hope it's of use. As ever, drop me an email, DM, anything like that if you want to explore further. And moving forward, we'll maybe spend a little bit of time in here, do a little bit of role play in terms of the conversations that go on in the living rooms. I am reluctant to take a camera into someone's living room and do it live for obvious reasons. I suspect they might object to it. Nobody wants to be that famous. So drop me an email, get in touch. Please share this if it's of interest to you. If you know other people, I don't believe in competition, or there's not enough out there for all of us. So I like making these videos, but there's not much point in making them if nobody's watching them. So please, if you're involved in some kind of Facebook group or community or WhatsApp group of property investors, buyers, if you've been on a training course or community with people, or if you're a landlord and you know other landlords, share this stuff with them. I'd love the feedback, and I'd love to share these ideas and principles with as wide a crowd as possible. Thanks for now. Speak soon. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.